Cam Akers, a former starter running back for the Rams, will have played his final down with the team if the situation continues as it has so far this season. According to sources, Akers and head coach Sean McVay disagree on philosophical and football-related issues. Akers is also currently sidelined due to what were described as personal reasons. Akers' future is uncertain according to the coach, and sources claim that the third-year pro might be done playing at the end of this season, so stay tuned to find out all the need-to-know details along with some trade rumors. First up, the Rams are expected to trade Cam Akers. Why? Well, here's what you need to know. Now, it seems that Cam Akers' stint with the Los Angeles Rams is finished. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network reports that the Rams are considering trade offers for the rookie running back after Akers and head coach Sean McVay reportedly had philosophical and football-related disputes. This is in response to the news on Friday that Akers would miss the team's Week 6 game against the Carolina Panthers, as Akers and the team are working through some various things. McVay made the announcement. Akers, who is a former Florida State standout, played very little this season and was unable to participate against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday due to personal matters. According to the report, all indications indicate that Akers' time with the Rams is up. While failing to clarify what he meant, McVay stated that the problem is being handled internally and that it's in sort of unexplored territory. According to Rappaport, Akers and McVay have a cordial relationship, and the main source of Akers' annoyance is the Rams running back group. So what exactly went wrong with the alliance between Akers and the Rams? Well, this is still unknown. The Florida State running back, who was picked 52nd overall in 2020, looked like he was headed for a big future with the Rams after rushing 145 times for 625 yards and 2 scores in his rookie season. Akers missed all but one regular season game after tearing his Achilles tendon before the 2021 campaign. He returned for the Rams' Super Bowl run, but in the playoffs, he only averaged 2.6 yards per carry on 67 attempts. Whatever problems there may be between Akers and McVay appear to be irreconcilable, and the Rams want to cut ties with their promising running back. It's difficult to predict what Los Angeles would get in exchange for Akers, but several teams need a running back. While Akers is out, the Rams will carry on with their current group of rushers. With Malcolm Brown as his backup, Darrell Henderson will take over the starting position he held in Akers' absence in 2021. Kyren Williams, a 5th-round rookie who broke his foot in Week 1, is still on injured reserve, but could soon make a comeback. Akers made a healthy comeback in 2022, but he only participated in 35% of the Rams' offensive snaps throughout the first 5 weeks of the season, and only 18% in Week 1 of that year. Now, this might be more of a Rams offensive problem rather than just being an Akers issue. This season, the Rams offense has struggled partly because of an ailing offensive line and Matthew Stafford's subpar performance. Speaking of the NFL and trades, plenty of notable players could be traded for the upcoming season. Who? Well, let's take a look at a few potential trades. When it comes to the NFL trade deadline, you should always expect the unexpected. This time of year has historically seen several noteworthy transactions, such as when the Los Angeles Rams acquired Von Miller, who helped fuel their Super Bowl run. Before the deadline of this year passes on November 1st, more notable individuals may be moving. Here are 5 crazy trade suggestions involving some of the greatest stars in the game that really make sense. First up, Arizona Cardinals potentially receive Bradley Chubb from the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are at an ugly 2-3 after an offseason brimming with anticipation and optimism. The offense has been appalling, with 15 points scored per game, ranking the 2nd worst in the league. Obviously, the squad needs to work out its problems if it wants to be a contender, but it may be too late to save this season. The Denver Broncos could trade veterans to accumulate assets, which is realistic given that they bring a 2-game losing streak into games against the Los Angeles Chargers, New York Jets, and Jacksonville Jaguars. Bradley Chubb, who is in the final year of his rookie contract, may be leaving the team. The Broncos would have to spend a lot of money to keep the team, so they could potentially prefer an upgrade to the offense instead. Another potential trade, Chase Claypool. Formerly one of the Pittsburgh Steelers' most promising players, Chase Claypool is now a potential trade target after a disastrous start to the season. Only 16 of Claypool's 29 targets have been caught so far in 5 games for 129 yards. Since coming into the scene in 2020 with a 9-touchdown first-round rookie season, he has only scored 2 touchdowns. Even if the Steelers' offense is having trouble overall, Claypool stands out in the team that is still being rebuilt. Pittsburgh got 2 rookies in the 2022 draft in George Pickens and Calvin Austin III. This offseason is committed to veteran Deontay Johnson by giving him a 2-year, $36.7 million agreement. These actions make it possible for Claypool to leave when his contract is over next season. Pittsburgh could move Claypool to a team needing a receiver rather than having him produce little in 2023 and then lose him for nothing. Given that many of their young wideouts have fallen short this year, the Green Bay Packers meet the criteria. Next up, Andre Dillard could very much be traded this offseason. The New York Giants are battling to protect their quarterback despite an unexpected 4-1 start. Additionally, the team is counting on a revitalized Saquon Barkley to carry the bulk of the offensive load. While the plan is currently working and the team is unexpectedly in the playoff hunt, an offensive line overhaul ought to be at the top of general manager Joe Schoen's priority list. Unluckily for Big Blue, one of its main rivals is represented by a prominent trade target. Andre Dillard, who was a first-round pick in 2019, was designated by the Philadelphia Eagles last week for a comeback from injured reserve. Although he will soon be able to play again, it is unlikely he will secure a regular spot, given that Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata are filling the tackle positions. Since joining the league, Dillard hasn't been a regular starter because of injury issues. Mike Gesicki to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thanks to the ingenuity of new head coach Mike McDaniel and an offense energized by the game-changing signing of star wide receiver Tyreek Hill, the Miami Dolphins are off to a scorching start. The team is throwing for 265 yards per game, which is the 5th best mark in the league, and are on pace for 31 passing touchdowns, up from previous season when they averaged 214.8 passing yards per game, and additionally, they also only scored 21 times through the air. Tight end Mike Gesicki hasn't contributed to Miami's turnaround, even though the team may be throwing the ball with great success. In 5 games, the 27-year-old has only had 12 targets, resulting in 9 receptions for 101 yards and a touchdown. After a career-best 73 receptions for 780 yards and 2 touchdowns this past season, the Dolphins franchise tagged him this offseason. The best action for Miami would be to admit that tagging Gesicki was a mistake and trade him before the trade deadline, given his limited contributions in other areas. The Jacksonville Jaguars should be prepared to swallow Gesicki's $10.9 million contract due to their obvious need for his skill set, even though it might be challenging to find a taker. And finally, to Washington Commanders, Christian McCaffrey. The Carolina Panthers unceremoniously dismissed Matt Rule on Monday and are now facing another futile campaign. The organization may decide to move on from certain veterans to get a jumpstart on next year, as they are almost guaranteed to miss the playoffs for the 6th consecutive season. The team may decide to let go of standout running back Christian McCaffrey. Despite being one of the game's most distinctive and dynamic weapons, he has struggled to remain healthy since agreeing to a $64 million contract extension in 2020. McCaffrey put together 2 exceptional years to earn that money. The Stanford University product amassed 2,485 yards and 22 touchdowns on 506 carries, in addition to 1,872 yards and 10 touchdowns on 223 receptions. Under the leadership of head coach Ron Rivera, hired by the Washington Commanders in 2020, the 26-year-old put up those astounding numbers. If Washington is ready to spend the money on the versatile back, the pair might play together once again this season. McCaffrey would undoubtedly be difficult to wrangle out of Carolina. He is owed $12 million throughout the following 3 seasons, but he has already missed 23 games. But what do you think? Do you believe any of these picks will actually be traded? Let us know. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the Rams and why they are expected to trade Cam Akers. Now make sure to let us know your thoughts down below, and as always, thanks for watching.